Premiering at the 2023 South by Southwest Film Festival, Flamin Hot, a new film directed by Eva Longoria that tells the inspiring true story of Richard Montañez, the Frito Lay janitor who channeled his Mexican-American heritage and upbringing to make the iconic Flamin Hot Cheetos snack and disrupt the food industry. One of the hyped up movies premiering here. I didn't get a chance to catch it. I did get a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos to eat, but both of y'all got to see this movie. Art, I think this was one of the ones that you were talking about as your most anticipated of the fest.
Excited.
It lived up to your excitement, your anticipation?
I thought it was a blast. It runs by really quick at 90 minutes. Definitely is a movie that's meant to watch with a crowd. Wasn't perfect, wasn't great. But I thought it was a really good time. My review for it is it's all that in a bag of chips because exactly like what you would expect when you're eating a bag of hot Cheetos. You're not there eating steak. This isn't some caviar that's been given to you. It's there to suffice for what it is. It's got a lot of little jokes here and there. There's a PhD joke that's said in this movie that made me cringe, but then laugh and then cringe again because I just know people are going to be using that acronym for so many things. But I thought it was a pretty good time.
Amanda, what did you think about Flamin' Hot?
Pretty much the same, you know, it's like kind of what you expect, but I thought it was like really, I feel like so many movies this festival or just things I've been watching lately, I'll be like, I feel like this actually would have, you know, been benefited from having like a monologue kind of going over top of it to kind of like weave things together. And that's what's happening here. He's like telling his story and he's all like, nah, not that guy, me. And it's like, oh, it's fun, it's
He
cute,
does a lot of the
cool.
Luis things from Ant-Man, which I think a lot of people are going to connect to. Now, mind you, that's a Mexican thing. But in terms of like when you see that in movies, it's that idea of the juxtaposition of having like a Mexican dude just voice over what is these white business guys as he's going through this pitch that is Flaming Hot Cheetos, the idea that he's just a janitor who's been trying to scrape by, and the company that he finally starts working for, Frito Lay, he realizes that there's one thing that hasn't been hit. They sell Cool Ranch Doritos. They sell all of these different types of things. I know she's eating some right now. But he realizes there's a whole market that hasn't been tapped into. And that's the fact that if you put, you know, some Flamin' Hot dust on stuff, people will go for it. Yo, there is cultures that have hot sauces in purses that people, you know, they don't go to a restaurant without packing their own. And he realizes that that market is there. And I think that's something that a lot of the festivals that we've been into, including South by, are realizing. It's always interesting to sit in one of these movies. We've had these movies at Sundance. You're sitting there with the people who are clapping going, yay! Ma'am, that's not you. You're the antagonist in this movie. So it is one of those weird things where it is a mixture of being for those people. But I think there's a lot of, I don't want to call them inside jokes, but jokes that I think will relate to a lot of Hispanic audiences overall. And, you know, shout out to Eva Longoria as well for being able to have her second directorial debut. I think this is considered her first because it's one of those where the boxing doc.
It's like the Natalie Morales thing where they made two movies and one came out first. But I mean, it's exciting that she got to direct this one. Do you feel like she brought a lot to it? Do you feel like there's a particular style, or does this feel a little bit like by the numbers? No,
well, she keeps it very snappy, and it's only by the numbers in the sense that it's like the biopics that you've seen. Now with a Mexican, right? So you got that Mexican flair to it, but she keeps all of those little nuances of what it's like to have a Catholic parent who's really telling you like, no, this is the way you got to go. This is why things haven't been going that way. But what really makes it stand out are the two lead actors in this, because it's a couple movie. It's a love story.
Their relationship. In
between it all. And there's this, the line that they keep pushing is, make sure you have a Judy in your life. I got a Judy in my life, so that's one thing that you really relate to. Also, you have other actors in here, Matt Walsh, Tony Shalhoub. They kind of play opposite sides of what's going on in the factory.
Very recognizable character actors.
Yeah. And their wigs were on point, bro. If I was these two gentlemen, get the person who made the two-phase numbers, because they look kind of real. They were able to make them look a lot younger. But in terms of her directing style, it's snappy and fast to a degree that, again, comparing it to having a bag of chips, sometimes too fast.
Okay.
And I wish for, you know, it being such a big story that they would take a little bit more time with it. I wouldn't mind it being 2 hours, but keeping it 90 minutes, I think, is what keeps it fast paced, but doesn't make it as big of a drama as it could have been. But it's pitching itself as a comedy. They were going comedy full out. Right. But they have dramatic moments with the dad.
Absolutely. And
those would have hit a little bit more.
And they pulled them off, but they were definitely trying to make this more of like a funny, breezy movie, like crowd pleaser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in only 99 minutes, you feel like it could have maybe lingered on some of those moments and gotten a little deeper.
That's the film critic in me. This is going to smack for audiences. This is exactly what people want when you're thinking of a movie like Flamin' Hot. So, shout out who plays Judy, Annie Gonzalez. She's in Gentified. She's fantastic in Gentified. She's great in this, bro. There are lines that she has when it comes between her and Ricardo. I don't know why his name is Richard, because they make a big point in the movie about it's Montañez.
Yeah, Montañez, but then
but
Richard.
It's Richard.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird like that. But overall, I think it's a blast of a movie that I think runs by immediately and it gets you engaged. This is one that I would take my whole family. There's a lot of these movies that I love. I would recommend them to the Inch Cuties. Mm-hmm. This is one you'd see with your entire family.
It's a feel good. It's a crowd pleaser.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Amanda, we've had a lot of movies at this festival that are like the true story behind the thing that you didn't think had an interesting true story, whether it's Tetris or Blackberry or whatever. Do you feel like this has enough, like, beyond the story that, like, you know, you're gonna take that and think about that every time you look at a bag of Flamin' Hot?
Oh yeah, like I had no idea that like the background that went into making Flamin' Hots, or how long ago it first started and how long it actually took to like spread upwards throughout the country and then into other places.
And the way they pitched it?
Yeah, and then the way they pitched it, you know? So that is really cool and interesting to think about. And then you also still get the moments of like, man, you stayed a janitor for that long after that shit?
Yeah.
For that long after? Come on, man.
And then just all the ups and downs, the push and pull. I sold gum in school when it wasn't allowed in middle school. Damn, that made you a lot of money. So the fact that you have a product that just wasn't on the shelves, it's just letting people understand, and we all know this, just doing stuff on YouTube, something that's not considered like an audience, but their views, their eyes, where you put in the trailer.
You find a market where there wasn't
How many
before.
times did we go to festivals and Letterboxd wasn't counted? The movie app?
Yeah.
And it's just this idea of these corporations that take so long to realize that's what you want. I know you're greedy and it blinds you. But out of your own greediness, you should see where the money is at. Yeah. And this exemplifies that.
Yeah. You mentioned it's a comedy. Do you feel like this is like as riotous as the other comedies, or it just kind of got these moments that are, I guess, maybe elevate or pepper moments, you know, like? I wouldn't
say peppered. I would say heavily peppered. Yeah. You know, it's solidly
it's
comedic, but it's not as like
chillied.
Yeah, it's not as continuous, and it's not trying to be as continuous as something like Bottoms or Joyride.
Yeah.
It's just like solid comedy with like the drama aspect. Like there's a lot they bring God up a lot, not in like an annoying way, but like, you know, some of the audience was all like, yes sir, you know, like from down below. So like, you know, it hits those beats too, like the feel good. It's a feel good comedy, you know, like it's
easily. Yeah, for sure.
It sounds like you'd say you'd see it in the theater, but this one going straight to Hulu on June 9th.
That's kind of weird.
It's kind of sad. That sucks. Yeah. But ain't that what we say? You can't even put it on the shelves, huh? Ain't that kind of funny though?
I mean, it does kind of feel like the kind of movie that's going to hit Hulu and a bunch of people are going to have access to it day one.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Big person on access. But you're not even going to give it the chance.
Yeah.
Right? There's another movie out that talked about equity when it came to a main character, and they did that in terms of its production. Mm-hmm. What do you know? And that's what bothers me sometimes, is it's all this talk, but there's not really a walk to it. I'm happy for it getting a wide release for people to be able to have it. But it would have been cool to see it in theaters as well, because I think it works.
So, strong recommendation from Art. Maybe a stronger, more
milder.
No,
I like it. Yeah, no, I can't imagine like not liking this movie. Like it was really enjoyable.
Okay, great. So exciting. Flamin' Hot. We'll be able to talk about it again not too long from now.
For sure.